Sup, bro? So PTR came out today, and there was a lot of posts and messages sent to me saying that Heartseeker feels terrible right now on the PTR, that it's just not working correctly. And so I started with Heartseeker myself, and I kind of felt something was off. So kind of made this little short test setup here to kind of figure out what was going on. So before we even start, let's actually go to down here, make sure that we see that our Victimize damage should be nuts. And looking at this plus the, the 50% that they kind of gave us from the patch notes, obviously that's there, so it's looking good. I should be dealing a ton of Victimize proc damage. So now it's time to actually see what's going on, right? So I did remove primary Heartseeker just so therefore I'm not getting like a double hit on a different dummy. So we're just gonna look at the Victimize numbers itself, right? So let's do it. Let's just shoot the side character here. Take a look at the numbers. My crits are 9, 12, 13 mil. But my Victimize procs seem to be 700k, 1 mil, 600k. Looks pretty awful compared to like the arrows that's hitting. Once I've done the low value, you kind of see my crit numbers here, 1 mil, 2 mil, whatnot. And you can see that my Victimize proc seems to be doing like maybe less than a third of my damage, maybe 25% of my damage. Now, just to make sure, let's make sure that the enemies are vulnerable. Let's try it again. So there's no, so as you can see with the curse touch, with the curse thing on them, still my damage is significantly less than my damage in terms of the Victimize proc. So we established that. So I thought, well, maybe it's because of this new aspect, right? We got this new aspect with the chill thing, right? So maybe it's because it's elemental now, and maybe the Victimize is not getting the elemental bonus or whatever, right? So maybe that's the problem. So let's swap real quick. So we go here and let's try it without. And as you see, my normal numbers seem to be a little bit lower, but my Victimize proc seem to be roughly similar to what it was when I had the aspect before. So it definitely has nothing to do with elemental or it being physical. But what this does tell me is that it narrows it down to what I think is actually happening without reverse engineering everything. So this feels like the old Victimize values where Victimize just did not work with a lot of multipliers beforehand, which is why it was so bad for such a long time. And so when they fixed the double dipping, they seem to have reverted Victimize back to what it used to be, which is why our numbers are way lower than it should be. Based off the tooltip. So our Victimize procs are doing anywhere between 1/10 of our damage in certain case scenarios, depending on if the surrounding enemies are crowd controlled or not. So that's a big problem, obviously. And if you're trying to do Victimize builds on the PTR, this is going to be rough for you to try to test anything until maybe a hotfix comes. But usually they don't do hotfixes in PTR, so we're probably kind of screwed with testing anything Victimize related for the PTR. Do know that this is probably going to be fixed live. This is not intended behavior, but if you're playing Heartseeker, this is what's happening, and this is why you feel really weak right now in terms of your Victimize proc. So don't freak out. It's a bug. This is probably going to be fixed live. Maybe hotfix PTR, who knows? But if you're doing any testing, I'd probably go on to other builds for now because, well, without Victimize doing the thing that's supposed to do it, it's just not going to feel good pretty much no matter what. So test a new sword, test a new helm, see if all those things kind of work out the way they should in terms of your actual damage. So but other than that, that's all I got. If I find out anything else interesting, I'll let you guys know. And as always, till next time.